this question is now greater and more important than the 73-year mission that it took to find her at the bottom of the ocean, because there is a fundamental battle for the soul of Titanic.
Should we be worried? Are we headed in like a scary direction? Or do you think this is just like the typical cycle of outlying things that seem a little crazy, but ultimately we're still in the right direction? I don't know. I don't know if there's an answer to that question. It just, calling this sort of the emergency meeting, it does feel that way because I'm a little concerned about the direction of the commercialization here.
Well, I wrote a piece about artifact debate, which you shared last time I was on, and I
Mhm.
titled it The Battle for the Soul of Titanic, because I do think that there is a fundamental battle over the future of Titanic. And I think history, including very recent history, particularly in the US and UK, teaches us that if we ignore these populist movements, they can lead to pretty dark places.
Yes.
And I'm not comparing Titanic artifact debate to Donald Trump or Brexit, whatever, but there is enough recent history for us to know that just ignoring it, no matter how absurd we may think it is a good idea. It was really funny that when I sent this article to my sister-in-law and I said, "What do you think about this piece? That if you could have a look at it," and she was like, "Everything's a battle for the soul of something with you." And I was like, "But it really,
But
in
it
this,
is. I mean,
yeah, you're
okay, not
talking
every
about
time, but it
the
often is.
and particularly at the moment. But I think in this conversation, you're saying, should we be worried? And I think for me, I think the answer is yes. I think that we are in a place right now that Titanic's historical, cultural, societal impact will outlive whatever profiteering and questionable behavior any person, company, whatever is doing. But I think that there is a question about the grip that certain people and organizations have on Titanic that demands our attention and some action, and which can be as simple as what we just talked about, being an independent body organization that oversees this.
Oh, that would be
And
incredible. Yeah.
I
I
think
think
for
that should
me,
be the end goal for anybody that
yeah,
has well-meaning intentions in all of this.
exactly.
Yeah.
And if you are as faithful as you say you are, then you wouldn't have a problem with that, right? It would be fine for you to be overseen because what you're doing is to your word. And I think that for me is why I describe it as battle for the soul of Titanic, because it's not just about how much money can I make or how can I tell a story or here's another museum or another artifact. Like, we are talking about the fundamental ethics and morals of how we remember and honor and tell the story of Titanic. And I close that piece by saying that this question is now bigger and more important and greater than the 73-year mission that it took to find her at the bottom of the ocean. Because, right, we know where she is. Great. One of the most incredible discoveries, probably of all time. But we are now in a place of, great, we have that. But we now have to answer the question about what we do with that, how we tell that story, how we remember, how we honor it. And I'm not sure that we have come to a great place on that. Everyone will have their own opinion, but I think, yes, if you are in the position that I think you and I are, we're pretty aligned. I think this is a pretty critical stage in what I call the battle for the soul of Titanic.